I'm Maggie PT2, and my presentation is on the world with income inequality. My question is, how does income inequality affect women's and lower classes' perception of human rights? My argument, however, is income inequality negatively affects women's and lower classes' perception of human rights. The definition I'm using of perception today is the mental impression or understanding of something. For example, your understanding of certain colors or your understanding of human rights. Income inequality is the unequal distribution of household or individual income across various participants in the economy, inequality.com. And women face this every day individually. On average, every woman earns 80 cents to the dollar a man gets. Any household percentile lower than the 0.1% income face this because the top 1% income is 5 times higher than the top 1% income. In the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 23(2), everyone deserves the same amount of equal work or equal pay. Just income inequality alone is 5.5 points towards poverty on a scale of -6 to 6. The biggest poverty reducing factors is income growth, which is a -38 points, and educational upgrading, which is a -27 points. And whereas income inequality is the biggest poverty cause with, like I said, 5.5. As the average income growth in percentiles, the top 1% income in the U.S. is given higher than 227% growth, while the lowest 20% is given 77% growth. These examples all cause some Americans to not be treated fairly, which is a direct violation of their human rights. Like I said in the beginning, women earn 80 cents to the dollar a man gets. Concerning race, in 2016, a study was conducted where Hispanic women earned 54 of a Caucasian man's earnings, and Asian women earned 87% of his earnings. Out of 525 occupations, 416 of them are driven by men, 106 of them are equal between men and women, and only one of them is driven by women. Through a feminist lens, she would be upset because women aren't being paid as well as men, and also in the future she hopes that we would be paid equally. Between 1979 and 2007, paycheck income of the top 1% of the U.S. earners exploded over 256%. The bottom 90% of earners have seen little change in their income. It was just a 20% income increase from 1979 to 2015. In the 1980s, the growth income of the top 1% skyrocketed, causing the wage gap that some people know today from high income to low income. From a lower class perspective, they would also think that this is unfair, which is kind of obvious. They would feel like this is unfair to them, and they work hard for something, but they don't get paid equally, or they do the same work, and they're still not getting as much as they should. The Declaration of Human Rights was established by the United Nations to make sure that everyone has the chance for equal life, property, and freedom. Horizontal and vertical inequality. Horizontal inequality is with structurally placed culture groups. Vertical inequality is between households and individual income. Due to the fact that even though income inequality is an infringement of the Declaration of Human Rights, there's not been any big solutions to this problem. Since human rights have not changed anything for women or the working class, their rights aren't making a difference, and thus a negative perception of them. Lala Abdul-Wahab is an American professor who writes about culture forms and the dynamics of gender. In her interview, Lila speaks about the injustice of the way that Americans treat Muslim women. Her article strengthens the idea that Western culture has yet to really understand or be fair to other cultures other than their own. Author Lewis Carroll is the writer of one of the greatest children's classic books, Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. In the excerpt, the black cat is scolded for something as she cares for the white cat. This excerpt shows that inequality is everywhere. It shows that discrimination is everywhere, and the people who are different are really in danger. My solution is to invest in, meaning spend more money to give them a better job or home, and give more opportunities to women or in the working class. This would cause poverty to be lower, healthier children, stable family structures, more women in the workforce, and overall more people to be successful. However, this isn't really risky investment. It's a very controversial investment as well. This would cause large disputes and rioting maybe, and just big things. And overall, humans can change significantly over a short amount of time and over a long amount of time. We can't be sure that people will really be successful with this change. Thank you.
All right, so taking a look at the defense questions. Regarding your research, you talked about perception. What was some of the research you came across about how women and racial minorities perceive the concept of human rights and how income inequality harms that?
Well, I think before women and lower class would think that it's great, because then we all have laws to make sure that we're all equal no matter what. We all have things that all humans should need. However, income inequality has changed that, has given the women and lower class less money than other people, and also like they do the same amount of work, but still they're being discriminated against.
And regarding income inequality, its effect on the perception of these issues, one solution that you hear brought up sometimes is just a guaranteed basic income. Every person gets X amount of money, and that provides for all their basic needs. If that kind of solution was implemented, what sort of effect do you think that might have on the perception of human rights from these groups that we've been discussing?
I think it would have a better perception because it would give them security and hope that no matter what, they're always going to be treated as their neighbor, their next person, and that they, if something ever happened to them, they know that they'll be okay because somebody's out there looking out for them.
All right, excellent job. Let's hear from Maggie, everybody.